Hello and welcome to Lesson 5 of the Grade 1 Theory Tutor Book. So the teaching aims for Lesson 5 are as following. You will learn about the fermata sign, you'll have further practice of tempo markings, you'll be able to learn about musical symbols, in particular the staccato and the accent. And then you'll learn about words that mean to slow down in music. So the first thing that's introduced in the book is the fermata sign, and it's like a little eyebrow with a dot in. Now this instructs the player to hold on to the note for a little bit longer, and they can be very effective and make your playing quite musical if you use them within pieces of music. Then you're able to have a little practice of writing the fermatas on the line just here. Now, for the first steps exam, you were introduced to some tempo markings like allegro, allegretto, but now we're increasing those. Remember, the ones that you learnt for the first steps tutor book are still applicable. They may well come up on the exam paper, so please revert back to your first steps tutor book whenever you're looking at tempo markings, because the previous ones, as well as the ones that are added for this grade, may well come up on the exam paper. So the new words that you've got here: adagio, andante, moderato, allegro, allegretto, lento and largo. So keep having those in your head, learning those, and make sure that you're familiar with those when you take your exam. Then you have an opportunity to have a look at an extract of music, and the green line says look at the piece of music below, then answer the questions. First question, what does andante mean? Second question, what does FF mean? And then PP, MF. Then it says which bar shows a fermata sign. And then finally, it mentions about how many whole bar S are in the piece. So a lot of these questions link again to what you learnt in your first steps tutor book, but they're also bringing in new material like the fermata for this grade as well. So this is how the questions are likely to come on the exam paper, tying in all the information you've learned from previous grades as well. So now we move on to music symbols. So you get symbols in music to describe the way a particular piece of music should sound. So the first symbol that we're going to learn about today is the staccato. So you can see the staccato has a dot underneath. It can also have a dot above. Now don't mistake that for the dotted notes. Remember, the dotted notes have their dot at the side, but the staccato has their dot on the top of a note or below a note only. And when you see that sign, it means to play the note short and separate it from all the other notes that are around it. So you have the opportunity to write some of the staccato notes there. Then another symbol that's worthy of learning and may well come up on the exam paper is the accent sign. So the accent is like a sideways V found on the top or bottom of a note again, and it indicates that that specific note should be played with emphasis or stress. So you give that a bit more oomph really when you play. So then you have an opportunity to practice writing some of the accented notes on the stave below. Then we go into a whole lot of words that actually mean to slow down. Now you'll find that there's quite a bit of repetition of words sometimes in music, and this is a fine example of how this could be. So there are words that mean to slow down include rall, which means rallentando, but there's also words which have a very similar meaning, which also mean to slow down. So you've got arrit, which is gradually slowing down, ritenuto, which means held back, and sometimes you can find that they put these words together with other words like poco. So if you get the word poco, that means little. So poco rao means to slow down a little. So then you have another exemplar here with a piece of music, and you have some questions that follow. So first of all, you're asked what key the piece is in. Then you're asked what the word rao means. Then it asks you which bar shows the crescendo. And then it asks you to circle the paired quavers. And then it asks you to add a slur in an appropriate place in the music. And finally, to place a fermata over the last note. And that completes lesson 5.